Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Football and welcome to the Match Day 3 UCL Fantasy Tip Show. As always, we will be going through a lot of topics in this one, basically a breakdown of almost everything ahead of Match Day 3. So the team selection will be fast, and then we'll talk about the best captaincy picks for Tuesday, Wednesday, and also differentials in terms of that. And then also my match predictions, all my match predictions for Match Day 3, and also a Q&A session where we'll be talking about or covering the PSG forward line. How many of their players should we be going for? Should it just be Mbappe? Should we be going for two of them? I'll be giving you the stats and what I think about that. And also the Liverpool defenders. Obviously, we've been talking about how bad Rangers is and all that. In terms of defense this season in the Champions League, should we be attacking as well? So should we be going for Liverpool defenders or not? We'll be answering all that through this show. But first, on Tuesday, as always, I will be live with the deadline stream right before, like a couple of hours before the first match. But this time it's a double. So on Tuesday, right after the deadline stream, I'll be coming back live 5 minutes later to do a live watch along for Bayern Munich against Victoria Pilsen. So make sure to join me for that. I know most of you will have Bayern Munich players, the likes of Sane, Mane, Mola, Kimmich, Musial, all those guys. Come join me live on Tuesday as we watch that game and stress over UCL Fantasy. All the links are in the description. Make sure to check them out and join me on Tuesday. So let's get started with the team selection for Match Day 3, how my team is looking right now. So I have made a couple of changes, and I'll still make a couple of changes even after this, because I've seen a lot of games this weekend. I've watched Real Madrid. I just watched Napoli as well yesterday. I watched the English games, Man City, all these guys, and I know which teams have rested which players and which teams have not rested which players and which teams are likely to win and lose. So in terms of how my team is looking like, so the goalkeepers, no change. Adan of Sporting is still in my team, and Maya of Dortmund. I don't think I will be changing that. I'm happy with the prizes and Sporting, how they're doing in the Champions League. They're not doing that well in their league this season. They're doing terribly, in fact, but in the Champions League they're keeping clean sheets, and hopefully I don't even need Maya on Wednesday. Hopefully Adan can keep a clean sheet and I'm not in need of Maya the next day. In terms of defense, I've changed a couple of things from my team selection video. So currently Alphonso Davies remains in my team, but he's costing 5.5 million. So if I want to change a few things in my team, Alphonso Davies dropping down to an Upamecano or Pavard is very, very possible if I need that money for elsewhere. But I'll definitely have a Bayern Munich defender. But I'll wait for that team news on Tuesday. We get the Bayern Munich team news this time round before the deadline hits. So whoever starts, even if we get like a 4.5 million defender starting, I might even decide to go for them. But most likely Upamecano or Pavard will just stick with Alphonso Davies. Joao Cancelo is still in my team for obviously forever, but I'm slightly concerned because he started every single game for Man City this season, and this is their easiest game of the season in the Champions League at home. So I'm guessing he might want to rest a couple of players after that big win against Manchester United in the Manchester Derby. He might want to rest a couple of players, and could Cancelo be one of those guys? I'd not be surprised at all if he does rest him. And they do have a couple of injuries, again, from defenders. Laporte just came back. Diaz was rested in the other game. And then obviously Stones got injured in the international break, and Walker as well got injured. So does that mean Cancelo is definitely going to start because they don't have that many fullbacks, or will we see the likes of Gomez starting and maybe Ake on the other wing? So we'll have to wait and see on that one as well. And then obviously Kostic is also on my bench. I've brought him in recently up against Maccabi Haifa. I like how Juventus played against Bologna, and Kostic got subbed off very early, I think 58th minute. So I think he will be starting in that one for sure, hoping for another clean sheet there. I think he will stay in my team. And then Rafael Guerreiro of Dortmund is also staying in my team at the moment. As you can see, I have two Dortmund defenders in terms of their goalkeeper and also their defender, but I'm hoping Adan can keep a clean sheet so that I don't need Maya to come on. But even if I need both of them to come on, Sevilla have been terrible this season. I think they're 17th in their league. They're not scoring goals, especially at home. They just lost to Atletico Madrid by 2-0. They didn't score against Man City. They also lost at home, I think, to Barcelona. Like, they've lost a lot of home games this season already. So I am going to stick with Guerreiro for now. And then Meja is also in my team of Club Brugge against Atletico Madrid. But that is another player that I'm willing willing to change, I could change that from Club Brugge defender to an Atletico Madrid defender in Ronaldo. I've had him for 2 weeks measure, and he's done well for me in both weeks. Club Brugge are doing well in the Champions League, but is it time to move out, jump out of that ship, go elsewhere? Because maybe this is the time their form start dropping, or will they keep the good form and beat Atletico Madrid and keep a clean sheet? I don't know. And he also didn't play in the last game major for Club Brugge in their league, so that is something to consider as well. That is how my difference is looking. In terms of the midfield, we already know Leroy Sané is definitely going to stick in my team. Is going to definitely be there. I'm expecting most of you to have Leroy Sané as well. I don't think he'll be leaving the team anytime soon. Does he have any? Will he be rested for this game? I really don't think so. Obviously, he did play against. He didn't play in the last game against in the league. In their league, he didn't actually start when they won 4-0 against Leverkusen. And Musiala on screen right now. He did play very, very well over the weekend. Very, very well. They played on Friday night and he got a goal, he got an assist. So both of them, I'm happy to keep both of them in the side. So I didn't have Musiala, I had Kimmich before Musiala, but I'm going to stick with Musiala for now because of how good he is in terms of attacking threat this season. Kimmich will get you an assist possibly from a corner or something, but I think if Musiala starts, luckily we get the team news on Tuesday. If he starts, I keep him in my team. If he doesn't start, then I might move to Kimmich directly. So 2 Bayern players there to complete the triplets from Bayern Munich, the triple up on them. I am going to have all those 3 guys in my team, or 3 Bayern Munich players in my team for sure. Luis Diaz is also there up against Rangers. He also didn't start over the weekend for Liverpool. I think he's guaranteed to start this one. Liverpool kind of struggling this season in the league as well. 3-3 against Brighton. Luis Diaz came on. Liverpool managed a couple of goals. He assisted Firmino's goal. So I'm hoping he'll start in this one. I think he will start in this one up against Rangers, a team that has already conceded 7 goals in the Champions League this season in 2 games. I'm hoping he can do the job for me, Luis Diaz. And then Kudus is also there. Napoli up against Napoli, Ajax against Napoli. Kudus as well didn't start for Ajax over the weekend. So you see, I've really done my research on every single team. I actually watched all of them. I watched Ajax, I watched Napoli, I also watched Bayern Munich, I watched Man City. I didn't watch PSG's game, just the highlights. I also watched Juventus against Bologna, and I also I didn't watch Sevilla, just checked the highlights, but I also watched Dortmund against Cologne. So I've done my research on every single team here and which players are started, which players didn't. So Ajax didn't win their game over the weekend, so that is interesting. Does that mean they won't beat Napoli? I don't think so. I think Kudus will start this time round, and since he's almost playing like a striker and is actually a midfield in the game, that is good. Valverde is also there. He didn't start for Real Madrid against Osasuna, game that they did not win. Their 9-game winning streak is over. Valverde did not start. Does that automatically means he's going to start again in the Champions League? I think so. Benzema is back for Real Madrid, so I think that makes things a bit harder, but I think Valverde will definitely start, maybe with Benzema and Vinicius. Maybe the one to drop out is Rodrigo, but we have to wait and see what happens with that one. So that is my midfield. Hopefully I've given you guys everything. In terms of will I change my midfield, the only change is maybe Musiala to Kimmich if Musiala doesn't start, but I'm definitely also thinking about a Napoli player. Napoli are looking very good, top of the league in Serie A, top of their group in the Champions League. Kvaratskhelia might find his way back into my team, or I could go for a Napoli defender just to have a Napoli asset in my team. Mostly Mario Rui, because he's already picked up a couple of assists there as well. So it could be someone like a Guerrero to Mario Rui. So that is the midfield. In terms of the forward players, Kylian Mbappe 100% is going to be in my team. What a player. Like, these PSG guys are very good. They have a tough fixture away to Benfica. Benfica had won every single game this season before dropping points this weekend in a 0-0 draw. I think it was against Victoria Guimaraes or something, but Mbappe is exceptional. You saw him for France during the international break. For PSG, he was on the bench as well for their game. He came on, he scored. So most of my players here are well rested, the likes of Mbappe, Valverde, Kudus, all of them coming from the bench, Diaz as well. Erling Haaland, my goodness, this guy is absolutely exceptional. He scored 3 goals and 2 assists in a game against Man United. That is just crazy. Manchester Derby gets 5 attacking returns. He's already scored 3 hat-tricks in the league this season. In just 8 games, 3 hat-tricks. He also scored 2 goals against West Ham could have easily been another hat-trick for him. These guys are looking very, very good, and they have Copenhagen, their easiest game of the group. Now, the problem is just what I said about Cancelo as well. Does that mean De Bruyne and Haaland could also get rested in this game? Now, Guardiola, a couple of months ago, he was asked about resting Haaland, and he said Haaland does not really need to be rested. He's a machine. He can play every single game, which I agree with, but surely he will be rested somewhere. He cannot just play every single game, because let's remember, Haaland is a bit injury-prone as well from his days at Dortmund and Salzburg too, so they have to be careful with him, and there's a busy period coming up. They have like 8-9 games this month alone before, and then another few games in November before the World Cup. He doesn't go to the World Cup, so that's good for his injury record and also for Guardiola's team. No games for Haaland in November and half of December, so he gets to rest. But for this game, could he be rested? Might be. So the reason why I've gone for this third striker is because of that. If Haaland gets rested, that probably means Alvarez will be starting in that match. Even if Haaland doesn't get rested, I have a feeling Alvarez will start. Now, I also have a feeling Mahrez will start in this game, but he's 10 million. And who the hell am I going to drop from my midfield to have Mahrez at 10 million? Really no one. And sorry, what I'm trying to have in my team is a player who's going to definitely play in matchday 3 and 4. I'm trying not to make 2 subs in matchday 4 so that I can save one for matchday 5 and then probably play the Limitless in matchday 6. And if I have Mahrez in matchday 3 and then he doesn't play in matchday 4, then you're having to change players all over the place. So Alvarez might not start in matchday 4, but they might actually, both of them start in matchday 4, especially if they both do well in matchday 3. I think they'll start, and I'm really hoping Alvarez can start. So a lot of you are going for maybe 3 big premium strikers, or 2 plus Jaglov, Club Brugge. I've seen a couple of people going for the Salzburg forward. I've forgotten his name, it's disappeared. I think it's 7 million. So I've gone for Alvarez. He's only going to cost you 6 million, and if he starts in that game, I'm expecting Man City to score 4 or 5. I can expect him to get a couple of returns, and he's a huge differential. So that is how my team is looking like for now. Will there be changes? For sure. So join me on Tuesday for the deadline stream. In case of any team news or any changes in terms of that, we will be sorting it out on the deadline stream. So next up, let's talk about the captaincy picks. So let's take a look at the fixtures for matchday 3. So obviously we know 8 games on Tuesday, 8 games on Wednesday. We know you have to change your captain if your captain doesn't deliver on the Tuesday. So for now, obviously Tuesday, Sane, main captain from Tuesday, is the highest scoring midfielder so far this season, and up against Pilsen, absolutely fantastic game for him. And he didn't play a lot of minutes against Leverkusen on Friday. He's well rested as well, so I'm very happy to own him. I'd be very, very happy to own Leroy Sané for this match. Musiala did start. I think they all started, but they all got subbed off because they were 4-0 ahead by the 60th minute, so a lot of their players got subbed off. So I'm hoping he starts in this game and they can get the job done early. There is a chance he might not start, obviously, but we do get their team news that day, as I said. So Sané, or if you don't want Sané, if he doesn't start, or if you want some differential, I think if you want to go for a differential, it has to be on the Tuesday, not on the Wednesday, because you can change it on Wednesday if the Tuesday one doesn't work. You can also go for a Liverpool player if you prefer, like a Diaz or someone like that. We'll talk about their defenders later. Or you can also go for even Lewandowski if you have him in your team against Inter Milan. Inter Milan are not looking good. They're like 8th in the Serie A, so not looking good at all. In terms of differential captains on Tuesday, as I said, Bayern Munich, you can captain even one of their defenders if you want. I don't think a lot of people will captain any of their defenders, the likes of Alphonso Davies. If they get an assist and a clean sheet and a couple of recovery points, then you're looking at 10-12 points there. And on Tuesday as well, Ajax Napoli, I said, is going to be a high scoring game, so someone like a Kudus if you prefer him as captain. And even Napoli, like I don't have any Napoli players in my team, but I'm trying to get at least one because I think they're going to score a couple in that game. On Wednesday, for sure, Man City. Now it's different because we don't really know who starts for Man City and you don't get the team news. But obviously, if it doesn't work on Tuesday, let's hope the likes of Sané do deliver so that we don't have that headache of changing the captain on Wednesday. But obviously, any Man City player would be a great deal. If you want a defender from Man City, I think it's risky to go for a defender on that Wednesday. Tuesday, but Diaz didn't start on over the weekend for Man City, so he's basically a guaranteed starter for this one. Real Madrid only managed 1 goal against Osasuna. Benzema is back. Vinicius could be a good option against Shakhtar. Juventus maybe. They've just won their game against Bologna, but I still don't trust them that much. But in terms of differentials as well, you can go for a Dortmund player. I think Dortmund will win that game against Sevilla because Sevilla are not looking good at all. So if you prefer a Dortmund player like a Bellingham or something, that could be an option. But for me, I'd try not to go for a differential on Wednesday, especially if the Tuesday games don't work. You just captain a player from Man City or something like that, or even PSG like Mbappe clean. You just captain him on Wednesday. You know, at least you'll get a goal. So those are the captaincy picks for Tuesday and Wednesday. Next up on the agenda is the match predictions for match day 3. What are you guys going for in terms of your predictions? Let me start with the games playing on Tuesday. So obviously first up will be the Bayern Munich game and the Marseille game as well. So Marseille against Sporting. Marseille have not looked good in the Champions League so far. They've not even scored a goal. Sporting have won both games, beat Tottenham last time out 2-0. So I think their good run will continue. I'm actually going to go for Sporting to beat Marseille by 2-1. That is 3 losses in a row for Marseille. I think that will mean game over for them out of the Champions League. They could still make a Europa League spot, but you have to wait and see. Bayern Munich against Pilsen. Now, Pilsen, especially in their league, they score a bunch of goals. I think they just won 4-0, but this competition, it's totally different. This competition is a whole different ball game. So I am going to go for Bayern Munich to score 5 goals, and I'm going to go for Pilsen to not score any. So to Pilsen, so 5-0 to Bayern. Bayern Munich is a machine. We already know that. When it comes to scoring goals and all that, Bayern Munich are just a machine. And then in terms of Frankfurt and Tottenham, I actually don't think Tottenham will win this game. Frankfurt away from home. Frankfurt, the Europa League champions. Tottenham just came from losing to Arsenal, and Frankfurt went to Marseille and won the game as well. They're looking good. They did lose to Sporting, but they're looking good. So I'm actually going to go for a draw in this, and I'm going to go for Frankfurt 1, Tottenham 1. And then Inter Milan, Barcelona, as I just said, Inter Milan are not looking good at all. Barcelona looking great, top of La Liga. They've just passed Real Madrid. Inter Milan, they've already lost like 4 games in their league. That is a lot of losses already for them. And they're actually talking about changing the manager. I've had rumors about that. And Barcelona, Lewandowski, very, very good form. I'm going to go with Barcelona to win this game by 2-1. And then Club Brugge, Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid won against Sevilla. Club Brugge, since they beat Porto 4-0 their last match day, they've lost 1 game in the league and won 1. So I think their run will end here. I think their 2-game winning streak in the Champions League will end here, and they'll lose this game by 2-1. Respectable, but I think they will eventually lose it. Next up, Porto Leverkusen. Porto got thumped by Club Brugge last time out. I think they'll have to bounce back in this one. I don't think they'll get a win, but I think they'll get a draw at least. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw there between Leverkusen and Porto. Leverkusen lost heavily to Bayern Munich recently, so I'm going to go for a draw there. Ajax against Napoli. Ajax failed to score over the weekend, and Napoli are looking really, really good. I think when they go to Napoli, Napoli will win, but in this one, I am going to go for a 2-2 draw. High scoring goal. It's a draw. It could easily be 3-3 as well. Liverpool Rangers. We'll talk about their defenders, but I think they'll concede in this game, and I'm going to go for Liverpool 3, Rangers 2. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Liverpool have conceded numerous goals this season, several goals, numerous times. Leipzig against Celtic. Leipzig is such a fun team. They could thump Dortmund 3-0, and then the next day they're getting thumped 4-0. They're all over the place. Celtic enjoying wins in their league, and I'm going to go for another draw here. I am going to go for Leipzig 2, Celtic 2, and then next up, Salzburg against Dinamo Zagreb. That is the Chelsea group. I am going to predict Salzburg to win this game by 2-1 against Dinamo Zagreb. And then Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain. I am going to go for PSG to win this game by 2-1. I think they're absolutely on fire. Like Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, they can all score in this game again. Juventus, Maccabi Haifa. I think Juventus have picked it up last game, and I think they'll carry the momentum into this one. I'm going to actually go for 3-0 to Maccabi Haifa. Hopefully, Kostic gets a clean sheet there. Sevilla, Dortmund. Sevilla just don't score goals. Yes, I've mentioned those Dortmund defenders and goalkeeper. That's why I said I might take out Guerrero, because Sevilla, I think they will actually score in this game because Dortmund concede goals in their league, but I think they'll win the game by 2-1. Man City, Copenhagen. Man City in the league already have plus 20 goals. They already put 4 past Sevilla, or 5 or something like that. They've put 2-3 past Dortmund already. These guys are great, so I'm going to go for Man City 5 once again, Copenhagen 0, just like Bayern Munich. And then Bayern Munich's game, Real Madrid Shakhtar. I think Real Madrid will win this one by 3-1. I think the likes of Valverde will start, and in the Champions League, Real Madrid are a different team. Chelsea against AC Milan. I am going to go for a 1-1 draw there. Chelsea, very likely to pick up the win against Crystal Palace. AC Milan, what a win for them over the weekend against Empoli, scoring 2 goals in like 94th minute and 97th minute. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there. Or should I go for a 2-2? I'm thinking of a 2-2. Will there be many goals? Chelsea do concede a couple of goals, but I really don't see them getting 2 goals themselves. I think Tomori will be very excited for this game, so I am going to actually stick with a 1-1. So those are my match day 3 predictions. Let me know what your predictions are. Let me know which ones you agree with and which ones you don't agree with. And then you also need to pick, by the way, you can do this in the Champions League fantasy website or Champions League website, which game I'm 100% sure with. I need to put a star on that. I am going to go for, this is a tough one. Juventus Maccabi Haifa. I'm actually going to go for Juventus Maccabi Haifa 3-0 as a star, because I think that will be correct. Hopefully it will be correct. So those are the predictions. Let me know your predictions in the comment section. Next up, let's answer a couple of questions for match day 3. The first one is Neymar still a good option? I absolutely think so. Now, if obviously not possible, but if Neymar and Messi are like 8 million, 9 million, I actually think I'd have all 3 of them if someone like a Haaland didn't exist, because they are very, very good. Now, Neymar this season for club and country has close to 20 goal involvements. Like him, Messi, and Mbappe, they always score, they always assist. Every time you watch a PSG game, Mbappe scores, Neymar assists. Mbappe scores, Messi assists. Messi scored from a free kick the other day. Neymar scored a penalty for Brazil. Messi scored for Argentina. Mbappe scored for France. Like all of them are on fire. All 3 of them are performing for their teams. And even in this game up against Benfica, I think they'll score 2 or 3 goals, as you've seen from my prediction. And I actually do think all of them will get returns. The problem is fitting them in. Now, if you have Neymar and Mbappe or any 2 of them, it is very hard to have the likes of Diaz in midfield, the likes of Salah in midfield if you want those kind of players, or having 3 Bayern Munich players. For example, if I remove Alvarez from that team and bring in Neymar, I'll have to change a lot of things. I'll have to remove Kostic and go for a very cheap defender there, and then probably move from Diaz to a cheaper like Kvaratskhelia from Napoli. That is the only way I can have him in my team if I move like 3-4 players around. But he's still a very good option. I've seen some of you going for Neymar instead of Mbappe. I actually don't mind that. The only issue is Mbappe is highly owned, so if Mbappe gets 2 goals and you don't have him, in trouble. But if sometimes it might work for you, depends which kind of manager are you. Are you a risk taker? Do you prefer risky situations, or do you want to be safe? If you want to be safe, just go for Mbappe. If you're ready to take risks, then you can go for Neymar because it's cheap and you can save a bit of cash. And if you're feeling brave enough and you don't need all these midfielders, you can go for both of them. I think they'll win that game, especially in the home game against Benfica. I'll still be looking to get another PSG player, someone like a Hakimi at the back against Benfica. And then the second one is Liverpool defenders. Should we be going for Liverpool defenders for the next match day? Now, Liverpool have conceded a lot of goals this season. They conceded 4 against Napoli in the Champions League. They conceded against Ajax. They conceded twice against Fulham, twice against Man United. They conceded 3 times against Brighton as well. They are conceding a lot of goals. We said Rangers don't score goals. They've not scored a goal in the Champions League so far. But as you've seen in my prediction, I think they will score in this one. Liverpool are a bit all over the place, the defenders. Trent has been terrible this season in terms of defending. Van Dijk has been terrible in terms of defending, so they're all over the place. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet in this one. I think and they'll give Rangers a chance, and Rangers will probably take it. So maybe if they do keep a clean sheet in match day 3, you can look at it in match day 4. And if you want to go for a cheaper, Robertson is also out injured. Simikas, you can go for him at 4.5 million, but he'll probably get subbed off very early for someone like a Milner and might miss out on the clean sheet or something like that. So I just think it's time to avoid them for now, and then hopefully Rangers do score a goal in that match. So obviously they can get attacking returns, the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I think it's very expensive. Like if I had Trent in this team, like I definitely have to switch things around, just like if I had Neymar in this team as well. And I like to have a good balance, and I think the players I have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet in match day 3 and 4. So that is the match day 3 fantasy UCL fantasy tip show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know next time. By the way, you can have the questions as well sent in the community tab in any of the videos on Twitter, and then I'll include them on the video. So a bit of a long one, but a very, very crucial match day 3. I know most of you have played your limitless, most of you have played your wildcard, some of you are still stressing about which players to bring on. So check out the other 2 videos I've done ahead of match day 3. There's still a lot of videos, but check out the ones on screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.